Okay, yeah, let's get started on what's the state of React Native is at the moment. So some updates from the recent React Native, core React Native actually. So TypeScript by default. So we have TypeScript by default for React Native projects now. That means more accurate TypeScript declaration. And also the documentation for the TypeScript has been updated now in the React Native documentation. Support for Flexbox gap, row gap, column gap properties has been also added, which kind of simplifies the layout and spacing in React Native now, somewhat similar to what we have in the web platform. New pops inspired by web standards for accessibility, styles, and events, bringing more, web standard APIs to the React Native has been also added. And also the prop types, which were removed very long ago, they were recently added, not particularly added, but temporarily restored just to help with the migration with the new architecture. Also, Kotlin is now the recommended language for Android apps built with React Native, and all the templates that we have on the native Android code, right, that is also updated in Kotlin now. Some more updates. Symlink support is now enabled by default, which brings improved capability with the mono-WordPress setups and reducing the performance uh, overhead during bundling of React Native application. The support for Android 14 has been added with some update into the Java and also the Gradle of the Android part. And also the biggest upgrade on the new architecture, Vigilance mode has been rolled out. Earlier we had Turbo modules and also Fabric, which were rolled out to the new architecture, but now with Vigilance mode being updated, it is more or less now completely Vigilance for React Native applications now. Apart from that, there are some updates on the debugging side as well. Flipper has been deprecated, and a new experimental debugger has been added for JS debugging. I think currently it is experimental, but it has a lot of capability, so you should give it a try. Also, the documentation around debugging has been updated, so go ahead and have a look. Apart from the core updates in the React Native, there are a lot of updates on the in and around React Native as well. I mean, in the ecosystem. If we are talking about the React Native ecosystem, obviously we'll be talking about Expo ecosystem because it has been building a lot of tools around React Native. So some updates on the Expo side. Recent update, the SDK 50 has been released with that Expo router. Expo router has got a lot of capabilities in terms of bringing universal apps more to the reality. Also, DevTool plugins, which is kind of a what do you say, uh, which basically provides APIs for us to build browser-based plugins so that we can inspect our elements or any library that we are building for React Native more better. Apart from that, there were some improvements on ES build and ES updates, which is like the version upgrades of Xcode for web workers to build Expo applications on the cloud. Apart from that, also the full support for Expo modules has been added uh, in terms of TV application and macOS. Earlier, when we had to use Expo modules with TV applications or even macOS, there were some issues in terms of running that up. But now full support has been added for most of the Expo modules, so that's good. Yeah. Apart from that, some other updates. React Native Storybook 7 is out, which brings a lot of features from Storybook 7. And recently, Call Stack released a forked version of React Native with the support of Vision OS. So that is exciting. And yeah, apart from that, there have been some developments around React Native with UI libraries as well. So which is like maybe GlueStack, which we are building, and also Expo Router, which is kind of bringing universal app to reality. So more and more application we would see in the future, which is kind of like universal apps. Yeah. So those were the updates in and around React Native. Apart from that, what we can expect in the future from React Native? So these are some updates in terms of what we'll be expecting going forward with React Native. Some advancement in and around the ecosystem, which obviously the Expo team is building around. There is some work going around for faster refresh in the core React Native. Apart from that, we have static Hermes coming in. Static Hermes is, I mean, Hermes brings a lot of capabilities for us to boot up the mobile application, React Native mobile application faster, and it has bring a lot of performance improvements as well. But with static Hermes, we'll be also be able to improve the performance of React Native application more. I mean, it's kind of adding a layer of static type checking on the native layer while compiling the code. So that will be good. So we'll be leveraging static type checkings there to build better performant mobile application, which will be kind of like very near to the native layers, right? So that is one thing. Again, serverless architecture embrace. So Expo has been building around a lot of ecosystem around React Native, right? They have also released Expo Router. With Expo Router version 3, they release API routes. With API routes, serverless architecture is also kind of something that we'll be able to do now. So that is a possibility now. Yeah, with things like Hermes, static Hermes, new universal UIs, and all those. I think we are moving towards more than web and mobile. We are also building TVOS application with React Native. Now we are building. We have an experimental Vision OS application that we can build, and already we have Mac OS and desktop application that we can already build with our different. I mean the forked version of React Native. But yeah, that's the reality that we are moving towards. A recent update uh, from Meta that was, I think, released a couple of days back, which is React Strict DOM, which again is experimental at the moment. But with this, we would be able to develop fully accessible native component for each platform, which is again very exciting and also bringing a lot of capabilities to build a truly universal apps on the native platforms. We at GeekyAnts love React Native. We have working with it for a long time now, and we have doing a lot of experiments and all, building a lot of open source things around it as well. So these are some updates what we are doing at GeekyAnts with React Native. So recently we did a lot of experiments around React Native tvOS. So that's one screenshot of what we have been building. Also, we have been doing little experiment on the recent Vision OS experimental code base. So that is again something what we are experimenting and building around few things that we'll have more updates on. Apart from that, th- we are also working on something similar to SATCN UI for React Native. We already have some around 20 plus components available with it. And we also have a talk around this today by Viraj. He will be talking more about this. We also did a quick experiment with the recent update from Meta, that is React Stick DOM, to create a universal React app. So we'll be exploring more on that in the coming days. So keep watch on the Twitter to see more on that. Yeah, we have some amazing talks lined up for today. We have Ayush Singh from Disney Plus Hotstar. We have Rohit and Viraj from GeekyAnts and Anshdeep from MRT Technology. So yeah, let's get going. Thank you, everyone.